growing beans.
I'm Emily, and probably tomatoes and hot peppers. Nothing is made in my garden.
That were originally cultivated by people of the northern Sonoran that store them like in a greenhouse or some kind of protected environment so they don't freeze, and then let them mature that way.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one of come over and participate from there. Most of the little garden beds in this area have been stewarded by folks from the Peeps, which is super fun. It's not like the community gardens in town where you rent a plot and that's yours and you have to take care of it. Thing. And there's, yeah, some big beautiful gourds in here. But you'll see a variety. Like I said, most of these little garden plots that if you plant in your grid and it rains, the nutrients and the water can concentrate around your plants. We have, it really breaks down typically in the springtime when completely start over and everything. But yeah, a good way to home comp. If you Google it, you'll see 100 million different variations. But yeah, every backyard should have a keyhole bed, I say. They work. We love the hoop house. We were able to build the hoop house from a grant we got from the county extension. Play with crops that need a warmer climate or a longer growing season. On this side is all Hopi lima beans. Not a great crop for Flagstaff because they require too long of a growing season, but we're growing them in there. If you check it out, artichokes, loofahs, tomatoes, basil, all those heat-loving crops we can grow in there. And then in the winter, we can plant cool season crops and grow year-round. And so we'll break down all the heat-loving crops eventually, and then we can plant kale and radishes and lettuce and all those cool season crops and grow year-round. So we do not permit public harvesting in this part of the garden. We refer to it as the North 40 or our indigenous crops garden. And so planted in there are all traditional cultural important crops, so corn, beans, squash, melons, there's potatoes. So of programs, one's called Cultivate, and that's the gardening program, and those kids help us plant and harvest in the indigenous crops area. We have an indigenous cooking class led by Meg Bodie, who's Hopi, and she'll use things from the garden and teach all kinds of cooking with the traditional crops. Each year we rotate crops. We amend our beds every winter, and then we rotate our crops. It helps keep perpetuating a rich soil growing environment. This year, that section is our salsa garden, so that's where we have tomatillo. Really worked hard on this. That's the tip.
And every year we do it. Well, not redo
Every
it,
year
but feed
we
it.
amend it. Yeah.
Amend it, that's the word.
That's the word.
I think
I'll show you. It's back here.
I really think it's
It's so hard to kill here.
Here, all the authors are people of color in that library, and they can take books, add books. There's a chalkboard, and we're with a little grant we got from Master Gardeners this year. We're in the process of building this dome kids greenhouse, and now we just need to work on building the interior out with some raised beds. So that's our cool little kids greenhouse. But we welcome people of all ages, all cultures, everybody to be part of this place, so trying to make a welcoming area for kids. But we decided to include the honeybees as well, important pollinators, and they make honey. And notice that the beehives have an electric fence around them. Why would we do that? The bears. Bears. We had bears 2 years ago. The bears found the hives and ate them. Oh. And it was interesting. I was really nervous because they went all around the garden. There was bear poop everywhere. And we had to take the hives away so they wouldn't keep coming back. And I was worried that they were like, we have this big compost over here. But in the end, we put up the electric fence. We wanted to keep the bees, but we didn't want to attract bears to a public space. So far, it's worked. Often, beekeepers in Flagstaff will move their hives to warmer climates in the winter, but we do not. We keep our hives, we insulate them. That's our big source of green material. And then in the fall, we go around and collect bags of leaves, mix the greens and the browns, and we produce pretty incredible volume of compost and keep literally probably about 8 tons of green waste out of the landfill. We use most of this compost here to amend our beds in the fall, but we also can share it if people want some compost for their home garden and they want to help sift it and process it. We again share that with the community, but I'd say we start with good soil, but the other big challenge is the length of the growing season here. And you can see there's structure over most of our little hoops, over most of our raised beds. And so whatever you can do to create, I say, season stealing, put your starts in the ground, wrap them with those water bottles, cover it, and that way it gives you a chance to extend your season, because the water creates basically heat.